Well, welcome everybody to Leaders Live. This is a short countdown timer to just to help the various feeds catch up with us and settle down and all that sort of stuff. And we can't wait for today's groovy show. And we're hanging out with Print Integrator Business Manager and regular on Leaders Live, our very own Joe Cooper. And we'll be yeah, give us a wave, Joe. Yes. And a quick hello.
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 Hello. Yeah, and we'll be talking about the business use case for print, and is print dead or alive and kicking? And I think that might deserve it. Ooh. And so, yeah, helping us to engage, we have the lovely Birdine Hugo, our fab moderator, chipping in, and she'll be keeping the interaction flowing. Give us a quick wave, just a quick hello.
Hi everyone, welcome from the sunny Western Cape.
The funny Western Cape, yeah, we've had load sharing and all sorts to deal with, and yeah, hey ho. And morning Maria. Maria's just hooked on, so that shows that we're coming through. That's good. So yeah, music by my Uncle Peter, and we think this is the 51st show. Well, we don't think, we know, because we've counted them. Fantastic, we're all part of this growing community, and that feels really exciting. So please let us know if our audio's coming through okay. And we've got morning from Paul Winfield, fantastic. Morning Angelique, brilliant. And Sarah Hughes from wherever you are in the world, North Tenerife, the last time I was... last time I looked, but let us know where you are, Sarah. That's great. Alive and alive. Alive, says Angelique. Good morning, Andrew Bryant. Andrew Bryant's in the... we're coming back to Andrew Bryant today in our Get to Know You in 5 slot a little bit later on, where we have a little intermission, a little interlude. So that's when Andrew will be coming on. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. So, oi people, it's Leaders Live showtime, folks, and it's just after 8:45 a.m. here in the UK. And if you don't know, if you're new to Leaders Live and you don't know me, I'm Andrew Jenkins, and we are live with Leaders Live. Spreading the love, folks, spreading the love. Yabba dabba doo. So we're streaming out on LinkedIn, we're streaming out on YouTube, Facebook groups, Twitter, Twitch, all those things. Ta-da! So if you can't catch us live or on the replay, fear not, my friends, we have you covered. This will go out on podcast too in the next 48 hours or so. So, ooh. And remember too, it's an interactive show, folks. So please get involved, join in, ask us questions, network with the live community, even a bit of friendly banter. So morning to Jack, and morning to Tilly Davis. Right, okay. So I think Jack's training this morning, but he's logged in anyway. So yeah, so there we go. So yep, put it all together. What do we got? Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Love that expression. You'll be singing that song all day, especially if it's Angelique. She'll be singing that song all day. So I also mentioned that we've got the Get to Know You in 5 with Andrew Bryan, and we'll come to that at about 9:15. So we'll come back to that again about half time, just to let you know. So let's just bring our lovely Joe Cooper into the room with a lava lamp in the background. Yeah, look at that. It's heating up nicely. We can see it blobbing about at the moment. Brilliant.
It's grooving.
It's
grooving.
It's warming up nicely, just like we are. We're building up nicely. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm hanging out with Integrity Print Business Manager Joe Cooper, and we'll be chatting about to print or not to print. Is print dead? Oh. So how you doing, Joe? Great to have you on the show.
Yeah, really well. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks for inviting me. Lovely to see everybody out there. Thanks for joining in. There's going to be some facts about digital word versus print.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and I welcome comments from you guys too, because we're all in this together.
Yeah. Yep. So we're going to talk about the business use case for print and digital and hybrid world and all that kind of stuff today. So Joe, you have a question for the audience to get us moving and grooving. So what's your question for us this morning, just to get us going on the comments field?
Yeah, the easy question really is, do you think print is dead?
Oh, there you go.
Is it alive and kicking?
Is it alive and kicking? There's a song in there somewhere, Joe.
I know, I keep singing it.
I know, it's great. That's Simple Minds for that. Yeah, Simple Minds for those of you that are too young to remember good music, and there we go. So, okay, so there's a delay in the feed, folks. So Birdine will pop the question, and she just has, into the feed. So over to you, folks. Start using the comments, start responding to Joe's question. We've got another question coming up in a moment too. I'll come back to you in just a tick, Joe, and so, you know, as mentioned, where am I? Leaders Live is an interactive show, folks, so please join in. Don't be shy, use the comments. for questions and statements and any other things that you want to use it for, and answers to questions, etc. And engage with us during the show and each other. Remember, it's a group conversation. You know how it goes, folks. So we'll reintroduce our moderator here. So during the countdown, I briefly introduced Berdine, our moderator. Here's a chance, if you don't know Berdine. Hi, Berdine. Chance to say a little bit more to us this morning.
Hi, Andrew, and hi, everyone. Looking forward to today's Leaders Live with Joe. You've all seen Joe in the comments for quite some time, and finally we've got her on the show. So very excited for that. And then as South Africa, we've got load shedding. I don't know which one of you guys know about the load shedding, but fortunately this morning they suspended it. So yay, I'm here.
Just for us. That's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah. Shout out for the South African government there, who just dropped the Wi-Fi connection and all electricity for a couple of hours a day. So right in the middle of their winter. So yeah. Okay. So just a quick one, and thanks, Berdine. We'll come back to you as we're going along as well. So smash those likes too, folks, and thumbs up. We really appreciate a little bit of love. That keeps us motivated too. Please subscribe to the Leaders Live YouTube community channel. It's a group effort. We're trying to grow that. It's a fledgling at the moment, but it's growing slowly. So. Sarah Hughes says live stream keeps on stopping for me. I'll need to catch up on replay. Oh, sorry to lose you. That's okay. We'll see you on the replay, no doubt. Okay, so back to you, Joe. Let's bring Joe back into the room. There we go. Big picture of
Hi,
Joe.
guys.
So just before we begin, let's just give you a little bit more love and some round of applause. Yeah, for those of you on the podcast, this is real confetti that's just pouring all into Joe's room now. So you'll be clearing that up forever. So feel the love, Joe, feel the love. I hope you loved the groovy build-up.
I do. Thank you.
Brilliant. Yeah, so Joe, you asked the audience a question. Let's have a quick start with this. Berdine, what's going on in the chat regarding the question? Let's just go back to that for a moment before we get kicking off.
Okay, Matthias said simple minds.
Oh,
Paul said print will never die. And then Matthias had rigged for the band during Bergenfest in 2014.
Oh, wow. Okay. 2014, there's a memory.
Wow.
Maria said, I prefer a book from reading from a Kindle or iPad. Actually, never used a Kindle.
Never used a Kindle. We'll come back onto that, Maria. We're going to talk about Kindles a little bit later as well. Interesting one, that. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Maria.
Angelique said, tricky one.
Yeah.
But is alive and would hate for it to die. As long as we are thinking of the planet, I need to have things in print.
Yeah, and we come on to sustainability as well. Some surprising facts about sustainability, Joe, aren't there? So we'll come on to that a bit later.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Andrew said,
morning, Andrew.
No, print is definitely alive and kicking. I use paper all the time for my diary and all of my daily and weekly to-do lists. By the time I have written it down, I could still be looking for the notes app on my phone.
Yeah, dead right, Andrew. Absolutely. I mean, hands up who's got... who uses a normal printed diary, or even a to-do list on paper. Yeah. And Andrew, will be coming back to you at the half-time mark when we do the intro for Get to Know You in 5. So we'll see you then. Okay. So anything else, Berdine?
Yes, Darren Smith joined us.
Hi,
He
Darren.
said, good morning, all. Is there
morning,
anyone
Darren.
from the paper industry that is on this chat this morning?
Good question. And I'm sure there will be.
You guys can all hop in there in the chat and just respond to Darren.
Fine.
And then Elaine Godley said, nice to have both real books and digital.
Yeah. And I'm sure for Elaine, she does discs, so sometimes a printed report is as good as, or even better than. I'm sure Elaine will tell us more about that as we're going along. Fantastic. Good morning, Cecile. And over to you again, Berdine. Finish us off.
And then Matthias said, I agree, Maria. Screens can't replace the unique feeling of having a real book in your hand, sitting in front of the fireplace and having a great read. Used Kindle once to read a book that I needed for a study that couldn't be shipped until after the course was finished. wasn't the best reading experience I've had.
Okay, right. Well, we'll come a little bit more onto that as we go along. So thank you for that, folks. And if you want to respond to Darren as well, if you're from the print industry, please say hello to Darren, and we'll see who's who on the feed as we're going along. So interesting. So, Joe, have you got another question for us?
Yeah, I have. It's something that's sort of what we use every day. So we send an email, somebody sends an email back, and you just respond with a thank you, which is a nice, polite way. It's just how much do you think it emits a year just by sending one little thank you email?
In terms of the electricity involved in the carbon footprint that takes up.
It's the carbon footprint of sending one email over the course of a year just to say thanks.
Yeah, okay. And all those thanks all add up, don't they? Yeah, very interesting. Okay, so Bob, Rob Pratley, direct mail is really important channel in the marketing mix and is proven at driving people online.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. There's many stats for that as well. I think it was about 98% that received direct mail. Of that 98%, there was about 70% that would be driven online for various elements.
Yeah.
You trust a link, don't you, that you get in the mail rather than if you get it on an email.
Yeah. Okay.
All sorts of things that are all in today's show.
Okay, so listen up, Rob, and I think Rob's one of your mates as well as Darren, so they're both from the print industry, so I think anyway are all connected too.
Yes. Yeah.
Okie dokie. So while people are answering that question about the carbon footprint, then kick us off, Joe. What stats and facts might surprise us, about the printed word, Joe? Over to you.
The stats and facts that would surprise us about the written word. Yeah, crikey, yeah. There's within the industry, I'd say that it's still alive and kicking. I would say folk are engaged with print 70% more likely to be influenced to remember a business or event.
Yeah.
There's the cybercrime event that came, or in 2021, part of the National Fraud of Intelligence Bureau did a study on how many people were affected by cybercrime via the email. Yeah. So the losses within 2021 was £2.6 billion.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's surprising because it's so intelligent now. You look at an email from a large retailer, you expect that it's going to be a worthwhile, trusty platform. So you do tend to click on these things. It's only with a lot of training, which our company luckily does with us guys, and a lot of other companies do out there, that you can realise there's a slight little misspelling in the email address, or it's not actually from who you think. So never click on it. But that's, again.
Yeah, and that whole thing about trust is quite interesting, isn't it? To trust or not to trust, electronic communications, and particularly all the spam. And the older we get, the harder that is. We've all probably got elderly relatives that we can cite to think, actually how difficult is it for them, having grown up being, trusting print and then thinking email is exactly the same, or, and actually that cybercrime thing affects a lot of the elderly, doesn't it?
Well, definitely, because they are very trusting. There's the different generations. They've got the Gen X, Z, Millennials, with Gen X. I've run out of the generations that we're in, but the specific ones that you are trusting. You were brought up to be trusting people and don't expect the big vast world out there, which is on electronics, can cause so many issues. Yeah. And people trust print. If like Rob, if you're going to be sending direct mail, or our company sends direct mail, but it's more a hybrid type of mail. If it comes through the door, it's written, it's sent to you directly, it's got your name on it. Yeah. You know the company, you're expecting it. Most of it is expected.
At least some of it.
Yeah, but like we've said before, gets tickets through the post. We love that. We don't want them online. If you're going to need a ticket, you've got to then print it off, and it gets lost in your, like Andrew said, it gets lost in your folders on your apps.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely.
If they're there, you know where you put them, and you know where they're going.
Yeah, where did I put that? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Anything else stat-wise for us, Joe?
Yeah, I think with digital stats, we send 500 million tweets,
Wow.
65 billion WhatsApps, 294 billion emails, 4,000 terabytes of data on Facebook, and that's together with 5 billion internet searches a year, and that equates to 2% of the global emissions, which scarily is it brings the carbon footprint as big as the airline industry,
Wow. Gosh.
and
So
it's due to
online.
bring that's all online, yeah. So the
Gosh.
carbon footprint of online, sorry, and
Yeah.
so that's due to increase by 8% in 10 years.
My gosh. So bigger output than the airline industry all put together. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
That's an
yeah,
interesting stat. Anything else, Joe, for us? This might surprise us.
well, yeah. Again, does anybody know how many trees we plant a day?
Oh, yeah. How many trees do we plant a
Uh,
day, folks? We can guess on that one. Yeah.
we equivalent to football pitches. So
Okay.
what do you think? I think I know the answer.
Ah, okay.
I haven't been and counted them all, to be fair, but yeah, I've got a good idea.
Okay. So how many football pitches a year are we planting tree-wise in the world? Is in the world today? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I think it's just a general misconception that people have print is dirty, unsustainable, and archaic.
Yeah. And in fact, it's far from it, right? Okay, we'll come on to the sustainability a little bit later. And anything in the chat at the moment, Berdine, for us?
Only from Cecile. She said, I never thought of carbon this way, actually. Thanks for asking. I do like emailing, but in the same time, I hate all the phishing and email alerts
Yeah.
we received without even signing in. Also, by accepting cookies, we keep receiving unwanted emails or alerts.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. You know
and
what?
then
That's so.
Matthias,
Yeah, that's so true, isn't it? That I'm just thinking
Yeah.
this morning I received a purchase request order. Looked fairly genuine to me until I started to look into it and realise if I click on that link, I'm going to be sunk. So you have to be so careful, don't you? Again, back to that trust thing about
Yeah.
emails. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Berdino, back to you again.
Matthias said 300 football pitches then.
Okay, so that's Matthias's. Yeah, up a bit, Matthias, up a bit, like up a lot. Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll keep teasing that one for a little while.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting stats.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Elaine said, amazed at the electricity stats.
Yeah.
Who would have known?
Yeah, I
Thanks
didn't
for
know that.
sharing.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. It's quite interesting. And actually, Elaine is a big sustainability person. I think she's living in Portugal at the moment, and I think wind power's part of your daily life. I think, Elaine, if I remember rightly, I might be wrong there. Might have got confused with somebody else, but I think so.
It's always been a misconception in print. A lot of marketeers, especially I think it was probably more 20 years ago, would look at print and say we're going online because it's more carbon friendly and it's cheaper. So over the course of the years, a lot of us have been doing the research to get to grips with what really is more sustainable. And I've got the stats on and sending. Do we want to go through these stats on sending that email yet? Or
No, we'll do that a little bit later. We'll come back onto that.
Yeah, but there's the stats there, and again we've got how much pulp for the printing industry, how many emissions that actually emits, and it's one of the lowest. It's 1% of the UK or 1% of the world's greenhouse gas carbon offset emissions, which is the lowest of the change. It's the most recyclable object.
Yeah, and we've got that well sussed in terms of recycling paper, and it actually does get recycled, does it, Joe? Is that
Yes.
the right? Okay, that's useful to know because sometimes it just ends up in a landfill or to another country and just stops there, I guess.
Yeah,
like the plastic.
All industries you'll see with the ISO 9001. I think that's the one for it. Sorry, environmental. I'm sure the guys at work will tell me off if it's the wrong one. We've got three, but yeah, everything that we recycle goes to the proper recycling centres. It's all done professionally.
Yeah.
It's usually down to the consumer or the end user at home if they don't recycle it properly.
Of course.
That's how it ends up in the landfill. So everything can be recycled. It's just a case of everybody doing their part at home.
And in terms of recycling, it's well sussed. It's only 1% of a carbon footprint in terms of world usage. Okay, Darren's just come up with a question here. Let's just bring this one up. Hello, Joe. Do you have the stat of the amount of trees being planted from carbon capture scheme used in the print industry, which people may not be aware of? Oh, there's a question
Darren,
for you.
no, see, that's me bad. I
Right,
did
Darren.
the generic of all the paper. There is a percentage of the paper that's used initially for the print industry. Darren, what is it?
Yeah, Darren, come on, tell us what it is, please. Google it now.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to that. There's probably a convenient point to go back to that the football pitch question in terms of the number of trees planted a year. What is that then, Joe? Let's just close that loop.
Yeah, it's actually 1,500 football pitches a day.
Wow, a day. Wow, not a year.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got that wrong. It's actually a
No,
day.
no, it's a day. Yeah,
That's a day.
I think these are probably stats from about, I think it was last year. But again, it's incredible. But that is across the world. In the industry, we all use FSC or PEFC, which are sustainably sourced paper products.
Yeah.
So for everything that we use, we plant. I think there's probably 5 to 10 trees per tree that's taken down.
Say that again, Joe. That's what? Sorry.
For every tree we use, there's probably another 5 to 10 trees planted.
Okay, to replace the one tree. Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay, so it's a 10-to-1 ratio. Right, so we're replanting more than we're using, essentially. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right, brilliant.
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, they'd never grow back quick enough.
Yeah, okay. So thank you for that, Joe. Berdun, just quickly, just catch us up with what's going on in the chat for us.
Cecile said, I would say without knowing the stats that with online exchange, we don't kill trees, do we?
No, we probably don't, but
That's
it sounds like we're
question.
planting more than we're using anyway there, Cecile. I think that might have just crossed over with what we've just said.
Yeah. It doesn't kill the trees there. What it does is it takes from the national grid.
Yeah.
So for the heating up and the cooling down of all of your electronic devices, takes up. That's where all of the carbon is taken away.
Yeah.
I have the stats again for the emails. Are we ready for that one?
No, not just yet. We'll come back onto that in a moment. Right. What else is going on, Berdun?
Matthias said, found this brilliant app called Forest a few years ago. If you don't log into your phone for anything between 30 minutes and 2 hours, you contribute to reduce carbon footprints. The longer you stay away from your phone as part of the app's income goes to planting new trees across the world.
Wow, there you go. There's a good reason not to keep looking at your phone, folks. In our household, we've got a rule that we don't look at our phones past sort of 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, which we're still weaning ourselves off that one. But it's a good thing to do. But we're just starting that one. Berdine, sorry, carry on.
Okay. Cecile's asking Maria, what is the most unsustainable to use, paper or data?
Okay, right. Well, we can answer that question.
Maria
And Darren says this.
And Darren said, sorry, was not a trick question, was just bringing the awareness of the fact that the print industry is being responsible for the paper usage, which hopefully stops people thinking that DM and leaflets are a waste of paper.
Yeah, no, that's true, Darren.
Okay. So thank you for that, Darren. So, in this digital, sustainable, everything world we live in, does print really have a place then, Joe?
Yeah, 100%. I've figured that the print came to the UK via Scotland 500 years ago by Walter Chapman. So it's been there for the longest. It's been the most trusted form of communications through the years. There was a study within the pandemic. I don't know if people have looked at this, but online versus printed in learning and education. So, for example, when it comes to learning. The students were then sent home to learn online rather than offline. They found that they weren't absorbing the written word as much because it's shown that reading it's more of kind of a meditation when you hold it
Yeah.
So you relax into it, you absorb it, it becomes easier to understand, and you pay more attention to it because it's a still object.
Oh, yeah.
It's less demanding than digital text.
On our
So
brains.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you're naturally just accepting the written word.
Yeah.
Do you know when you're looking on screen, everything you can have a flicker on your screen,
Yeah.
you get distracted.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to have a different filter over the screen because of looking at for a long time. We're told to come away from it and go back, but then you lose where you're at.
Yeah.
And if your computer crashes as well mid learning, wow, you've got to then find where you were probably
got it.
3 or 4 hours ago.
Yeah, or if you're like Andrew, you're still trying to find which file you put it in, right? Or me for that case, right?
He's walking around his cyber universe trying to find his file. It's a crazy world to be in.
The metaverse, brilliant. Yeah. And
so,
come on, folks. Yeah, how many of us just print off a document to read? You know, when Joe sent me some stuff on what we're doing today, what was the first thing I did? It was literally, in fact, I texted her straight away and said, "Guess what? I've just printed this off to read it." Yeah, it just makes sense, doesn't it? You know, to have it in our hands, Joe. Yeah.
It's more special and tactile. So it just cues you to engage with a written word. Digital, like I said, creates more work for your eyes.
Yeah, it's hard on our brains. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, yeah, and you know, I mean, how many of us look forward to you know, when we hear the post drop through the letterbox? You know, yeah. I mean, I always read, oh, good, the post arrived. I mean, admittedly, there's a bit of spam there, right? But you know, and there's a lot more of it these days.
But sometimes within those spams, when you pick it up, there could be something you didn't know you didn't want until you pick it up. Like a pizza. I didn't know I wanted a pizza until I saw it had a deal. Yeah. But I'm not going to know that by
pizza
thinking,
deal.
am I going to go online and look to find a menu because I don't know that I don't want a pizza yet.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, that's so true, isn't it? There's something about, even if we don't want what's just come through the post, we look at it and we might bin it, but the thing is we've seen it, right? You know, so subliminally it stays with us. So that's the powerful thing about print through the letterbox. You know, and I mean, I'm the same today as I always have been. You know, when the post arrives, it's like, oh, good, I wonder what's happened. You know, wonder what's come through the post.
I wait for the postman for in the morning because it could be something exciting, like, oh, we're going to some gigs that have been kicked over the past few years and I'm still waiting for tickets.
Yeah.
So I want to be in there before my husband so I can open it.
I want to be there before my husband.
He can keep the brown envelopes, I'll have the nice white ones. Thank you.
Pass the brown ones to him and you open the nice ones.
Yeah. Love that. But yeah, that is, I think the stats of we will hold on to mail in our house for about 5 to 8 days.
Yeah, true.
And that's the leaflet. That's just any leaflet that comes through because you're just in case scenario.
Yeah. Or, you know, you wait for your other half to come back and, you know, you just go through the post together, or, you know, have a quick look at what's arrived, or even if it's on the doorstep, you just put it on the stairs, right? Well, it's what we do.
Yes.
Whack it on the stairs and then we can all look at it, and then all the junk stuff that is before we chuck it. Really interesting, isn't it? And you know, what about those old-fashioned things that are still really powerful? You know, we all like a birthday card, right, Joe?
Oh, yes. That's the biggest part of print. Who, like you say, people now tend to send gifts like a birthday card, and you don't even know sometimes if you've got it, you've seen it. It could land in your junk mail. I mean, there's a saying I've got is, get lost in spam, Will Robinson.
Get lost in space, get lost in spam.
Yeah, it's like this. So I prefer a card because somebody's taken the time, somebody's created that. Yeah, it's made, it's put together, it's given to me, and that means somebody's taken a lot more time getting to grips with the print and then sending it on to me. Yeah. Even if it's one of those rude ones that we think is hilarious, but we couldn't probably show to everybody. But you know, it's just a perfect way to engage with. People love print because it engages you. Yeah,
and birthday cards stay on the shelf for a week or so, don't they? And if it's a substantial birthday, it could stay on even longer. So there you go. And things like coffee vouchers, they're brilliant to receive through the post. You know, you get a coffee voucher from a mate.
Those any sort of coupons that we get through. I mean, your superstores, they send coupons through the post.
Yeah. Pizza deals as well.
Yeah, and if I received it on an email, because I don't necessarily have a printer at home, which is crazy, but I can't print them off, so I can't then use them, or I've got to try and find somewhere to print them off to be able to use them, so they become negligible to me.
Yeah.
So I'm missing out on that free cup of tea, coffee.
Indeed, and actually a lot of them are getting a lot smarter these days, aren't they? Because they have these pixelated square things. What are they called?
QR codes.
QR codes. Yeah.
They were back in the 90s. They came out. That was technology before technology was ready.
Yeah.
We used to sell advertising space, and a lot of companies would put the QR code within their advert to draw people to specific sites of their website, or pages of their website. But unfortunately, our ology wasn't advanced enough then, so they died a death. But one thing that came out of the pandemic was the good old QR code again.
Yeah, it's popped up again, and it's so useful, isn't it? Because then that can be scanned in, and there's your beauty between something in your hand and actually instantly accessible on your phone as well when you're out and about, and vouchers from Lidl and things like that could be translated really quickly. We're using them constantly. With it, people want to engage with their audience. So with work and what we print, if we're printing a long leaflet run, they're putting a QR code on there for specific offers, or if they want to drag them to a specific site of the website, bookings, Bath Theatre Royal, they're utilising that to get their audiences during the interval, so to pre-order their drinks and snacks. Absolutely. So they can deliver to their chairs. So a lot of theatres are thinking about that now. Donations, so charities. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. It's so simple, isn't it? I get it. Just through a simple QR code or a barcode, etc. Give you a break for a minute, Joe. And just to let you know, Andrew, we've got you in the green room, Mr. Bryant, so we'll come back to you in a minute. Birdie, what's going in the comments? Let's just catch up there before we jump over to the intermission.
Okay, Maria responded to Cecile's question. She said it sounds like data, although I would have thought print before hearing this chat. I tend only to print specific pages that has the information on, not the cover or first 2 pages.
Yeah, very good point. I do the same actually, just to save on paper and the amount that you're then having to recycle. Yeah, that's sensible. Yeah.
And then Cecile said, I definitely would print a document to work on than reading it online. Yeah. Plus, we can make annotations. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's easier to make notes on paper than on a device, because if I just look back to my university days, they started implementing tablets to work on. Yeah. And I literally went looking for the text box, the hard copy text box, because I couldn't learn from the tablet. Besides that, we've got load shedding, so if there's no electricity, you can't.
You're back to. Apart from you can't read at night if there's load sharing, because you've got no light. Yeah, brilliant.
Yes. Cecile said, my friend's dog eat the post when it comes in, so that worked their senses out.
Brilliant, I like that. Yeah, how many dogs eat the post? That's just a great one. Yeah, that's just one of those sort of hazards of post, isn't it? The dog eats the post. Loads of dogs eat the post.
And trying to fetch it, but she still doesn't. She just looks
trying to fetch it. That's what you get. That's what your partner's for, isn't it, Joe? As well. Okay, let me just come up with some quick data here. So we did this poll a few days ago, actually. Which medium do you prefer and find easier to read? We did this on LinkedIn. And this is interesting stats. Actually, while this was sort of going, we had 67 votes, which is a reasonable amount of data here. So, it started off where I prefer digital format was only about 8%, but it's jumped up to 13% in the last day. I prefer paper copy, 57%. I don't mind either, 30%. So it's quite interesting how that's, and I wonder if that, a few years ago, would have been very different, but that's still about, 87% would prefer paper or don't mind, and only 13% prefer digital format to read from. So I think that corroborates what you're saying, Joe, very nicely.
Yeah, definitely. And it is an interesting poll to do, because they don't mind either way. It could be split 15% and makes the preferred printing copy quite nice. it's just a tool that is something that, I mean, I love print, it's a given. I work in the industry, so
yeah, indeed, absolutely. Okay, let's just give you a quick break for a minute. Andrew's just joining, so we're going to have a quick intermission, and we're going to get to know you in 5 slots. I think he's having trouble joining us actually, so we'll just wait for him to come back on again. Oh, here he is. Right, 1 second. Let's just get Andrew in. Let's just assign him to a slot. There we go. And morning, Andrew. So hopefully we've got him. And there he is, Mr. Bryant. How you doing, buddy?
I'm very good, thanks, Andrew. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So this is our get to know you in 5 slots, and just want to move down the computer screen just a little bit so we can see you properly there, Mr. Bryant. That's fantastic. Okay, so we just do this a quick 5-minute slot just to give Joe a bit of a break, and this gives an opportunity to get to know a few of our regulars and put a face to a name, literally, and now we can put your face to your name. Andrew.
Yes.
So there you go. So brilliant to have you on the show for just a few minutes. So look, we're building the community on Leaderslive, and our motto is I to the power of we. So this is where this slot is about, just regularly featuring someone just very briefly. So and Andrew, I know that you've got you've mentioned in the group chat, the LinkedIn group chat, and various places that you're looking for a new job at this moment in time. And you're actively going for interviews, Andrew. And in fact, I think if I remember rightly, you've got one right after the show. Is that right? In Bury St Edmunds, Andrew. Is that correct?
That is correct, Andrew. Yeah, I've got one basically where I used to work. Yeah, and that is actually involving post.
In fact, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, so I left the place 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And where I worked for the last 6 months, it didn't work out at all. So
right.
I've got an interview to go back and hopefully be a manager.
Wow. So, and a promotion as well at the same time. So that, pretty good. Is there anything that you want from this group, Andrew, that might help you? A contact, some support, some advice, some information. What sort of things can we help you with, Andrew, in this next few weeks?
Right. Well, it all depends on what happens today.
Of course, yeah. It might be game over today, which is good.
Yeah, so I could either be one way. I could still be looking for a job by the end of today.
Yeah.
Or I might need some advice on how to, because the business if I get it, it's possible that I need to. I'm going to take it on and give it a good renovation or an upgrade or something.
Shake it up a bit. Yeah.
Up a bit, yeah. So brilliant. I might need some advice. So it'd be one way or the other, just some tips on how to turn it from a good post office into a great one.
Okay.
One for all the community, and they know they've got when they come in, they're going to get looked after. Yeah. And they go away with a happy smile on their face, knowing they've got good service.
Brilliant. Okay.
That's what I've been doing ever since I left school. I left school in 94, 17 years old. I've done nearly 30 years customer service.
Yeah, so that's your role. Yeah, so you do customer service, customer focus role, although you do you are wondering whether you can incorporate some selling into that as well. So that's maybe something we can help you with. Let us know how you get on, Andrew. And in the meantime, hopefully there's a bit of love coming into the room for you this morning. Matteo says, I wish you the best of luck with your interview, Andrew. So I'm sure there'll be support for you in the room. So quick one for you then. Here are 5 quick fire questions for you, Andrew, so we can just get to know you very briefly. Can you describe yourself in 3 words, Andrew?
Honest.
Yeah.
Cheerful.
Yeah.
Caring.
Caring. Okay, so honest, cheerful and caring. Right. Okay, if you had one superpower, what would it be, Andrew?
I think as I've been so used to working and all hours a day, because I just like to keep on the go. Yeah. Even if it's like 7, 8 o'clock at night, where I used to work on a farm, I think it have to be endurance. Endurance. Hey, there you go. Right. Okay. Endurance would be a superpower. What's one of the things on your bucket list, Andrew? That's quite a few. One of my favourites is the Avro Vulcan aircraft.
Oh, the Vulcan aircraft, yeah, down in the 60s, right, or 70s?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd either be that or Concorde.
Oh yeah, now you're talking. Yeah, one of my favourite aeroplanes. Absolutely, yeah. So favourite food, Andrew?
Pasta.
Yeah, okay. Pasta or anything?
Spaghetti bolognese, carbonara.
Carbonara, yeah. Okay. Favourite band, Andrew?
Oh, has to be a three-way split for this one.
Go on then.
Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Cream.
Yeah. Ooh.
And a bit of Queen.
And a bit of quick. Well, you can tell which generation you're from with great music like that, mate. Fantastic, brilliant. And lastly, Andrew, favourite film for us?
The Godfather, which I saw for the very first time about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Okay, right. Old film, very good though. Yeah, long film, brilliant. Andrew, thanks very much for being a sport and doing this. This is our 4th Get to Know You in 5 slot. Hope you enjoyed it too. We wish you all the best of luck for your interview today. Julie says break a leg with the interview. Darren says good luck with the interview, Andrew. And Matthias, yeah, absolutely. Pink Floyd is brilliant. There you go. So thanks very much, Andrew. We're going to say goodbye to you now. Good luck with the interview. Let us know how you get on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers for now.
So
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Let's come back into bring you back in again then, Joe. That was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes.
So,
all the best, Andrew, quickly.
What's that, sorry?
I just wanted to wish him all the best.
All the best. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So the interesting angle that we might not have thought about before is and we've just alluded to it earlier on in the show. Let's go back to the whole print thing. Is print dead or alive and kicking? And we started to pick up on this carbon footprint thing and the electronic communication. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So that this is when we send an email. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. One simple thank you on an email is 4 grams of carbon.
Right.
And you don't sometimes just say thank you. They could say you're welcome, and so that's quite a bit.
Yeah. So there's a thread.
Yeah, but it could be just a thank you, but I don't know. And but then if you're sending an attachment to an email, scarily it could be 50 grams of CO.
Oh wow.
So that's quite a vast amount, but through the processing, the filtering and everything else that goes in the background to send an attachment, that can equate to 135 grams of CO, which is like equivalent to driving 200 miles.
Whoa, gosh. Yeah, so who says email's clean?
And drive it to wherever it's going if it's exotic. But yeah, that's quite scary. It's like, wow, I looked at these stats thinking, amazing.
So let me just get this right, Joe. So if I can justify going up to see my daughter, which is a 200-mile trip, to give her a birthday card rather than send it by email, and it would be the same trip. Is that correct?
But then you've got to come back again. So unless you were going to send 2.
Yeah, or I could probably bring a birthday cake for her as well. So there we go.
Yeah, that'd be worthwhile, definitely. And that over the year is 16,433 tons of carbon of emissions.
Wow.
Which is, it's said on the stats, is like equivalent to tens of thousands of European flights.
Well, it's back to the flights again. Yeah.
Yeah, but
massive.
Again, I'm one of the guilty parties because I can't not say thank you after somebody sent me an email.
Yeah. Well, we just do, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
But if you posted it, this is a different statistics. So if you printed a letter, enclosed it, posted it, it was 26 grams of carbon offset.
Wow.
Then you're helping the postal system.
Ooh.
You're also helping the postie manny lady, who will then probably walk about 8 miles a day.
Wow.
And burn off, I think it was 784 calories.
Yeah, so the post lady or the postman will burn off. So we're helping them to exercise. So that's it all
you want
helps.
to get your steps in.
Gotta get your steps in.
Grams of carbon offset. It's not so bad.
I wonder how many steps that is. That must be well over the 10,000 steps a day, right? That's got to be about 20,000 steps, 25,000 steps.
That's a lot of steps.
That's a lot of steps. Yeah. Okay. So and the number of postal items. And business mail, Joe, you got some stats on that in terms of business?
No, yeah, there was. I did didn't put those on the notes. Sorry, but
I've got some stats here of 87% of postal items are business mail, where 13% are social mail. Wow.
Yeah, and again with the statistics that I looked on there is the people that are more receptive to direct mail is the Gen Z and the millennials.
Yeah.
These are the people that folk probably think aren't as bothered because they like digital world. They actually do like it, but it's not funky enough for them on their day-to-day living. They love letters, they love reading, they love hard copy books. When they receive direct mail, 85% of them will open it.
Yeah.
There's 65% will store it for a later on, and then there's 40% will share
keep it on the table
them
for a while. You mean, or something? Yeah.
We'll and they'll share it and go, have you seen this groovy thing?
Point to it.
Let's go night clubbing and things.
Yeah, have you seen this pizza deal?
yeah, let's go. And the pizza deal. Should we stay and play Xbox and eat pizza on this deal? Or, there's all sorts of things. And they're probably the most receptive because of the learning. We took it for granted. I thought, my generation, I took it for granted that everything was printed. I didn't have the option of digital world.
No, indeed. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's surprising, isn't it? So I'm just going to bring the moderator in as well. So Gen Z, Gen X or whatever, actually they're more retro than we think they are, and they're going back to print as a efficient way of spreading information and literally handling information.
In the media agencies, they're probably most of the driving force now that is coming into the next kickstart of the print industry, because they know how it works, because they've had the benefit of both the digital and the offline, so they know that what works best for
them,
the people that they want to promote it to. Or
God, that's
we could print. I think the stats were up to 1.5 million leaflets a day, depending on whether it's finished with a remoist or a perf. So we do a lot of the mailers with the gumming and everything for charities, events, exhibitions, promotions, new watch. There's all sorts of things that can be printed.
Of course, and even health stuff that a measurement thing comes through the post, and there's a return thing with a 24-hour stamp already on it. All printed digitally.
Just remoist the gum, tear it off, and stain it straight back off again.
Yeah, brilliant.
So it's all encompassing, and a lot of people are utilising that because it gives them a response. I don't know, you guys and the guys at home, if you're getting emails, how many get lost in spam? How many do you actually miss within we trying to sift through all of the emails? I think an average inbox can be 120 mails a day.
Yeah, and especially with privacy rules coming out and GDPR and all that sort of stuff means that a lot of it just doesn't get filtered. It gets just filtered out completely, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Joe, I'm just going to give you a quick break and come to Birding just for a moment and just see what's going on in the chat, so we can just pick that up before we move on.
Okay. Darren said the biggest issue at the present time is the price of paper, which could kill the printing industry and force customers to use email for promotions more, and even push books or magazines to digital.
Interesting point. Yeah, this is after the pandemic, I guess. Joe, what say you?
Yes, it's scary. It's been quite. I think in the last 2 years. Correct me if I'm wrong, Darren, but I think the paper price increase will be going up 40%.
Yeah.
And we're due another one at the end of May.
Yeah.
But this was also due to a major mill striking.
Okay. Right.
And now they've agreed terms. Hopefully things will start easing back off again and settling back down. Okay. So we think it's just a blip, but it'll smooth itself out, hopefully. But there again, Darren, the electricity prices are going up and everything's going up. So the whole world is going, inflation positive, aren't they? So, or negative, whichever way you want to look at it. Okay. Yep. Thanks for that. Verdine.
Cecile said those stats are very surprising, and thanks for sharing. So is this something that can be broadcasting to inform the rest of the world? We might need to adjust our writing skills.
Yeah, just talking about that, Cecile, who I'd love to receive a letter. When was the last time you received a handwritten letter? It's almost like a dead art, isn't it? And that could be coming back, couldn't it? Think about handwriting skills, etc. Yeah,
we do. Don't know if we do the hybrid mail on site as well, which is very popular because it can. I don't know if you to talk about that now quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. Yeah, go for it.
It's Clarity Mail. Basically, you have an online portal. You will be integrated. I can never remember the word. Onboarded.
This is web to print, is it, Joe? Is that what you're saying?
It's similar to that. There's a lot of companies that do niche more so in the web. This is the hybrid mail. We call it Clarity.
Okay.
A lot of housing associations and charities use it specifically for customer communications.
Yeah.
So they have a bank of templates already set, ready to go. They can print up to 10 leaves. Yeah. And then what we do is they just send it off like they're printing it. So they press print, it gets regulated.
Yeah.
They'll get a report, and then we do the behind the scenes and sending it off.
Okay, so it lands on people's letterboxes.
Yes, and then a lot of people know then it's definitely going to get there because they can trace it. It's all traceable down the system.
So it starts with a web-based product that you can behind the scenes, all that technology sorts it out, and it ends up on your doormat on the other side of the door in your house.
So interesting. I've seen it's like a little grid, and it looks like a maze. The guys in the IT who make it from this end to come out of this end.
So there's a flow to it. Yeah, there's a technical flow to it. I'm with you.
I'm not the most technical of vocab, but it's really interesting to actually see it working from online print, and you've sent 10 to 5,000 mailings in one day.
Yeah,
and you've not had to leave your office.
Literally a touch of a button. And that's the hybrid solution. Yeah. Okay. And that's probably come through more so in the pandemic since then. I guess it's made that much 100%. More. Yeah, gotcha. So let's turn our attention now to the future benefits of what print might bring us, Joe, for sales, for marketing, for promotions, for business communication that Darren's involved with, and Rob perhaps, etc. as well.
Yeah, the future really is we brought it earlier, a bit the QR and also augmented reality. So bit of AR. I think a lot of guys will probably know that is within the print. There's an encryption. So basically you can wave your mobile phone over it, say a car, and a car will come to life, and it can probably drive off.
Wow.
That's quite
on your phone. Groovy.
Yeah. And then there's recipes. So if you want to cook a roast chicken or some chicken, you could put it over read the instructions, and then you can visually see a sizzling chicken.
Oh,
and if you want to go funky, you could always. This has been a massive thing. It's been going for a lot of years, but you can scratch and sniff print as well. So there's a lot of finishers out there that could make the roast chicken smell. So you have a roast chicken sizzling recipe all in one, just on a piece of paper and an apple.
Oh gosh, sizzling sausage right in front of you. That's amazing, isn't it? Oh,
now I'm hungry.
So it's amazing what we can do when we combine technology with hard print, right? There's a future there.
There is massively a future there, and it's said that if you mix both the hard copy with the digital world, it can engage the recipient 400% more.
400% more. So so literally that hybrid model of digital and hard copy print in our hands. Actually, engagement increases if you hybrid it to 400% more engagement. Is that right?
More effective, So it's because it's engaging all of your senses. Everything comes to life.
Yeah.
And this can work on a large scale run of leaflets. If you've got the background technology we can produce QR codes to specific sites on print.
Yeah.
So all of these things can work together hand in hand, and then bippity boppity boop. Sorry, I've nicked in.
Bippity boppity boo. Yeah.
Boo. You have it. You have the perfect mixture of media.
Yeah. And do you think that's where the future's heading then, do you? It'd be interesting to see whether some of the guys online and guys and girls online have got any thoughts on that as well. But
interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. So
great thought.
And that's where the future's heading, this whole hybrid world of being able to mix and match. Fascinating, isn't it? Gosh.
But the long run print's not dead, and we do a lot of print for the retail factor, integrated business forms for, say, for example, a top-end retailer who sends you your invoice. You have integrated peel-off labels. Sometimes it's Collect Plus. You can peel that off, put it on the package. And we print millions of those every week for various retailers, including Collect Plus. And there's florists that utilise these components because you could put your gift message on, which goes in the box. Then you've got your label that goes on the box. So guys are buying the base print in still. So it's not always the sexy print that we look for. We can help with.
There's practical elements to this too, isn't there? And just returning, something, like a mug or something that you smashed or whatever, or you didn't want and you want to return some clothing or whatever. That whole thing, printing invoices, which you do as well, don't you? In terms of the back end stuff, all the things that people think are boring, but actually really important, right?
Yeah. Every company, in some respects, I guess. I mean, I could be wrong. Send some sort of correspondence. I know that there are a lot of digital correspondences that go out, but I look at print in a completely different way since working at Integrity. Because I didn't look at letters and go, oh yeah, somebody's printed that somewhere. Where? I don't know.
Indeed,
on the massive reels, on the cylinder presses, I've seen it all going through the folding lines, the enclosing lines, and we mail sort in house as well. So I see it all happening firsthand, and I love electronics as well as everything else because I like to see how it works. It's amazing.
Yeah, I get it, and I can see your passion in it. And just on that matter, in terms of passion, Joe, just give us a summary because we're coming to the end now. Just give us a quick summary, Joe, on new ways we can engage more with our customers using print. Joe, just summarise that for us.
Yeah, I think the ways to engage with customers is to talk to them, understand what they need, their requirements. I always believe there's not one boot fits all, because there's so many different industries out there that fit specific needs in print. Again, the digital world, we can always work together in that. Media agencies are amazing. The ideas that they come up with. And it's really difficult because it's such a personal thing, print. So
it's trusted and it's personal and you get the feel of it. It's easier, isn't it? All of those things.
It's my best, and I know this sounds crazy, but I do love to sniff print.
You're not a print sniffer, are you?
I'm sorry. As soon as if I pick a magazine up, the first thing I do is smell it, see what it smells like.
Oh, come on! How many of us really do that? I mean, I do that. There's nothing like the smell of a nice magazine, isn't it? That's just printed out, and it's not the same as an online copy at all, is it? And
just doesn't give the feeling.
No, online. And the interesting thing is that we think that that's actually dirty stuff, but actually we've learned today that it isn't actually. It's because paper is so easily recyclable, and it does, and in terms of the trees that we use, there's a 10-to-1 ratio of what we use to what we're regrowing. So actually, it's not as it's clean.
Once it's printed, we can hand it around freely. The carbon offset's already been done. If you get an email, you want to share it with somebody, you're adding 4 grams on, depending if it's got it could be 50 grams. So it is sustainable, and it is pretty amazing, and it won't die.
No, thank you, Joe. I think that was great. It's pretty sustainable and it won't die. And just very quickly, Cecile says, mixing digital and printing in relation to carbon footprint is defined something to broadcast. How impressive. Where can we see all these stats, please, Joe?
I've found stats all over the place. So
you've got...
what I'll do, I can put some together and send them to Andrew, and then when we promote the vlog, blog, tube, then we'll have them all there.
Please do, and we'll put some stuff in we'll put some stuff in the newsletter as well, Cecile. So we'll get that there. Maria just says, books smell great. Fantastic. And Cecile said, oh yes, I do print sniff. Brilliant. So there you go. You got some supporters there, some love in the room about sniffing print. Brilliant. So Joe, thanks again for enlightening us today. We've loved having you on the show. Let's just quickly bring up your call to action here. So look, if you want to get hold of Joe, we'll put this in the links as well. But Berdine will do that in a moment. But integrity-print.com is where Joe works, and I'm just looking for the joe.cooper@integrity-print.com is the email address. Or if you want to get hold of Joanne on print, on Twitter, it's Joanne BWC. So there you go. So we'll pop all that lot in the chat for you, and we'll make sure. In the chat and all the links so people can get hold of you. So please get hold of Joe if you need anything printed for yourself, like invoices or labels or all sorts of things, all the things that we don't think are very sexy but are still absolutely necessary. So yeah, you can do that, and please feel free to do that. So remember to also join the Leaderslive group as well. Please to keep the conversation moving. We'll put the links in again for you, and remember to subscribe to YouTube. Please, that would be fantastic. Please do that. Help us to build that community. And before I get on to what's happening next week, a quick word on the purpose and why with Leaderslive. And it all starts, folks, with the idea and the passion that you are more than you think, and we are also building a community of like-minded folks. Ooh. And this is particularly relevant in building back better businesses and people following the last 2 years in pandemic and stuff. And our motto is I to the power of we. So Leaderslive is a freely available edutaining expression of this, and anyone can join in and enjoy taking part in extraordinary conversations, which we've just had today with Joe. So, and through these simple ideas, we aim to make a difference and make the world better too, folks. And we want to bring a spirit of freedom, of joy and fun. And what's not to like about that into our working lives, folks? So if you want to know a little bit about what I do commercially, here's a very quick summary of what I do. So if you want keynote speaking, I host events. I facilitate top teams in terms of high performance development and strategy processes and leadership development. I'm also a fully qualified executive coach. And if you are a CEO of a small to medium size enterprise and you wanted to join a community of like-minded CEOs, then please contact me about joining Inspired CEOs. I'll tell you all about that in a later conversation. So in terms of the goose for next week, folks, next week's show's on Tuesday, the 17th of May at 8:45 UK time, and I'll be hanging out with B2B marketing expert and recent digital nomad, Sarah Hughes. She was on the line earlier, but I think the connection wasn't strong enough from wherever she's digitally nomading from at the moment. And she's also a very regular guest and a contributor to Leaderslive, so she'll be joining us, chatting all about Sarah's digital nomad experiences. I think that deserves a ooh. And digital nomading, if that is a new word I've just invented, is when professional people connect with and share experiences of living, working, adventuring, and travelling all at the same time to different exotic locations using organised co-working spaces for long or short periods of time. We can't wait to find out more about that. So be there or be square for next week, folks. And we're just going to say goodbye right now. If I can find the wrap-up screen, here we go. So you can bop along to this music as we finish out, and we'll just say goodbye to you now. This show will be on podcast shortly, and we'll all be clearing up this confetti which is pouring out of the sky at the moment later on. So so that, in the meantime, that's a wrap, folks, from Joe, Berdine and me. We wish you a great week ahead. Cheers for now, and we'll see you next week. Cheers for now. Ta-ra a bit. Bye-bye.